Governments deny it. Militaries deny it. Even the mainstream media denies it. But they are here and they have been here for a very long time. The Mutual UFO Network has been on the front lines uncovering the truth since 1969. And now we're sharing that truth with you. Welcome to MUFON What's Up with your hosts, Katie Page, Shane Hurd, and Tara Diulis, exclusively on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. Wondering what's up? So are we.
What's up, everybody? It is another Tuesday night, and you are listening to MUFON What's Up Radio, the show that says discovery starts with curiosity and curiosity starts with MUFON, brought to you by KGRADB.com. There it is, right there over my shoulder. I hope you go to their website and check out all their great shows and content. You won't be disappointed. They just keep you entertained for hours. Turn off that TV and listen to KGRADB. As always, we're endorsed by MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, always asking that all-important question, are we alone in the universe? Tonight, we have a very special close friend of mine, Jeremy Ray, and I'm anxious to have Jeremy Ray on the show tonight, talk to him about all sorts of things UFOs. I mean, he's been involved for so long with so many different avenues and different TV shows, so it's going to be great to catch up with Jeremy here in a little bit. As always, I'd like to bring on my co-host. We have Tara Diulis. Hi! What's up, everyone? Pop goes a weasel. Tara happens to be, but no, I didn't call her no. Anyway, we've been hanging out for the last 24 hours. Tara, yeah, can you tell? Tara's been here on vacation in Colorado Springs, and it's great to have her right here in the studio. So welcome, Tara. Yay. You can see Tara right here on KGRA too at Sky Tour Livestream. That's right. With Mark D'Antonio. Mm-hmm. So check out that show as well. And let's bring in all the way from Arizona, Shane Hurd, the Arizona MUFON Assistant State Director. Shane, welcome to the show. Sorry you're over there. Wish you were here too. We'd have a whole party. But
I'm over here sweating at 100 degrees, and you guys are chilling in the beautiful Colorado weather.
It hails, snow, cold. She's freezing her butt off.
I'm used to 100 degrees, not 70.
So yeah, someday that would be a lot of fun. So Tara, what do you have to kick us off today?
Today. Well, today's meme shows two aliens sitting next to each other at the Interstellar Conference. Their nameplates identify one as being from Sirius and the other from not so Sirius.
That looks like us right now. Hold on. Okay. Which one is the not Sirius? Hold on.
Oh my God.
I think you're both from Not So Serious.
We're both not so serious. That's why we get along so well.
Oh my gosh.
Be serious, would you?
We're all in good company, you know. Okay, well, today's products, it's always fun going places like to Colorado and stuff, but wearing alien or Bigfoot clothing. And so found on Amazon are some really fun Hawaiian shirts for yourself or perhaps for others. So here we have Bigfoot in silhouette, and they're just really fun.
Oh,
and
those are cool.
Here he is with some big coconuts. And this fun shirt has all sorts of aliens on it, some flashing the peace sign, some with hats. And how about a surfing Bigfoot? And these come in men and women styles. Here you have the trifecta, right? You have Bigfoot, alien, and UFOs. And this one is Bigfoot in his footprints. I like the blue color on that. And it's kind of fun.
Whoa, all right.
That's a neat black and white one. UFOs, Bigfoot, that's all good. And then here you have some Bigfoot among some leaves. And then lastly is a fun shirt that can be worn for Halloween. It has aliens, Bigfoot, UFOs, bats, jack-o'-lanterns, girls,
that's
all that fun
a
stuff.
must because that's my favorite holiday, Halloween. I mean, surprise.
She's been telling me that. You can see her.
We went shopping today, everything like Halloween stuff. They're getting it out.
That's right. Well, all those fun things could be found on Amazon. So, and also everyone, just remember to fuel up. I especially stay hydrated and fuel up daily. It tastes great whether you choose wake, play, or rest. And if you're not sure you would like it, Fuel Up offers a Feel the Difference money back guarantee. So visit fuelup.gg/MUFON to shop for our special offers.
Right. That's where I get all my energy from.
Yes.
That's right here.
Yep, the play's my favorite and stuff. So just real fun.
I think I need the rest.
You do. I need rest after the show. I'll drink that. So
Yeah.
Shane, what's up? What's up with you today?
Hey.
Have you heard?
Oh,
Hey, have you heard?
oh, that
Have
too.
you heard? Yeah, that
Jane, what have you heard
Mexico
lately?
had its own congressional hearings this last week. And I think you guys know I'm very respectful of others, of different ideas, and I treat everyone with dignity and respect. I want to clarify that. But I do have a little bit of criticism, and let me just say it straight out. So it's very cool that the hearings were held, and a couple of folks we know were able to participate. Ryan Graves, for example, and Robert Salas. But also who attended that was Jaime Maussan. And for people who don't know, Jaime has been a long-time UFO investigator and television personality in Mexico, and he's really big. And he presented two what are purported to be mummified alien bodies.
Yes.
And of course, that was sort of the talk of the town, right? And my thoughts on that just simply are that, Jaime was also associated with two other occasions of little mummies purported to be alien. I think one was like the Atacama mummy. And then in 2015, there was another one in which she actually had a big pay-per-view kind of event in Mexico City. But shortly after that presentation, it was, identified as a child, the mummy of a child.
Oh.
So whether, it's a hoax, this current presentation is a hoax, or if it's mistaken identity, if it's intentional, unintentional, I don't know. But let's just say I do have my serious doubts based on past experience, plus what I was seeing. Now, in their defense, they presented some scientists who conducted some research on these mummies and made some claims about a certain level of authenticity, that kind of thing. However, I will make the point that, even if scientists are genuine in their presentation of this stuff, we can see that there's at a minimum there can be a difference of opinion. So, for example, climate change, right? You can find scientists on one side that say it's not real, and on the other that they do, right? So
all the money,
I'm also wary about that aspect of it. Now, if they continue to make them available for peer review research, which is going to take some time, I'm open-minded to that. But I just, you really have my doubts at this point. And like I say with everything UFO related, anything is possible until it's proven not to be, right? So I'll wait for the proof one way or another on it. But I would just say people need to calibrate their BS meter. And if it's pinging right now, you have good reason to. But, again, respectfully, I would say that's my viewpoint until we get some, proof one way or another. The second thing that happened just a couple days ago is NASA produced its report of its committee that it formed earlier this year to kind of review the Arrow cases and come up with, sort of a disposition in their mind. And they held a press conference, and they basically said in a nutshell that we found no evidence of aliens, but we also don't know what these things are yet. So that's pretty much So that's what we expect NASA to say, isn't it? Right? And again, with all due respect, NASA, never a straight answer. It really felt like that. However, again, with all due respect, they are a legitimate organization, scientific, governmental, and they have to walk and tiptoe quite carefully. And you could see that in the news conference. In fact, our good buddy James Fox was there, and he was actually the first person to pose questions to that committee. In fact, Bill Nelson himself, and he had two questions. And the first was, "Hey, if you don't know what they are, how can you identify what they aren't? Right? How do you prove a negative kind of a thing?"
Yeah. Right.
And the second question was, if you do find evidence of aliens, what's your plan for communicating that to the world, to the public? And
good question,
I can
James.
see Bill got his hackles up a little bit on that. And he made a point of saying that, hey, you bet you we're going to report it if we find it. But he didn't really detail any kind of a plan, and he really didn't answer the first question either. This is what we're getting, what we expect from these governmental organizations. However, I am hopeful that with continued pressure and a lot of us watching, and the tide is turned in terms of the public's opinion of it, that, once the civil war in the U.S. government kind of gets hashed out between the disclosures and the non-disclosures, I'm hopeful we're going to get something. But at this point, it was very predictable, and it was what we all anticipated. So that's just my 2 cents worth on the issue right now.
Great. Have you heard? A lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, every week there's more and more and more coming out, more hearings, more, press conferences and whatnot. Shane, do you think it's true that when we went to the moon, do you think that they actually, astronauts encountered aliens, and there was sort of like, that's why we haven't been back? And are they fearful of that? Was a deal hashed? I mean, what are your beliefs there? And maybe that's why they're really walking on eggshells here.
Yeah. I think, I'm 62 years old. I was 9 years old when they went to the moon. And I can tell you the entire mindset of the entire nation and people was, hey, by the year 2000, we're going to have flying cars and we're going to have bases on the moon. We'll go there for vacation.
We were all going to
I mean, there was that much optimism.
Yeah. There was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when they abruptly aborted, actually Apollo 18, 19, and 20 were basically nearly on the pad, right? They were in the program, they were funded, they were built, they were ready to go. And they abruptly just stopped them was really shocking. I think it was shocking to the public. And of course, their explanation is, well, we found what we needed and, why spend the money and that kind of thing. But that doesn't hold water because, again, how government works, money is appropriated years in advance and budgeted for. So I'm just, pretty skeptical. Now, as to the claims of, that there were aliens on there and we got warned up, again, I go back to my default. Anything is possible until it's proven not to be. And there are comments from, astronauts. There's that 2-minute and 13-second gap in the radio conversation. There was a ham operator who picked up on that signal and picked up on that conversation where, I think John Glenn or maybe it was Neil Armstrong had made comments, hey, they're over on the crater there and they're looking at us, that kind of thing. I think that's compelling. And so when you put those things together, and then, I always appreciate like Donna Hare. If you don't know who she is, she was a subcontractor with NASA, and whose job was basically to retouch photos from the moon and so forth. And she, indicated that they airbrushed a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's enough little pieces and points of view and just, whistleblowing, that kind of thing, that you put all together and there's doubt, right? There's room for doubt, legitimate room for doubt. So I'm in the camp where I love Stan Friedman, what he said. He had a white basket, a black basket, and a gray basket. And again, like 98% of UFO stuff's in my gray basket. I mean, there's some definite black and some definite white, but mostly gray. And I'd say that's in my gray basket. But I think it's a distinct possibility. But the question is, then why are we going now? What changed? If we got warned off then, why are we doing it now? And frankly, look at it. China, India, Japan, they have all landed craft on there before we have, in this latest round. And the Soviets tried it and crashed and burned. So did they not get the alien memo? I don't know. Or, what has there been some authorization that we can go back?
They beat us there. Maybe they're making deals or something.
Well, that's it. Because the Chinese were on the back side of the moon, right?
That's
so,
right.
Yes.
That makes me wonder.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting.
Which is
Jane
all
for
very
Christmas.
fascinating.
a gray basket.
I'm getting him a gray basket.
You're
so
gonna
you
have
can do it. I'm going to get you a gray basket, Shane. So you can start tossing
A big
there.
one. It's
A
full.
big gray basket for Shane for Christmas.
Yes.
It's on my shopping list.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
that's,
but what do you
really
guys
interesting
think?
Stuff, Shane. Yeah.
Oh,
What do
I
you
think it's fascinating. I think your perspective, I support what you're saying, Shane. You have such a good ability to recall what has happened and share that with us. And I watched the moon landing live as well when that first happened. And we just thought, who knows, we were all going to be on the moon by this time. I thought I would be on the moon. So it's kind of sad that we're not there, but it is exciting that they're going. But
Would you go to Mars, Tara? If
Yes.
They let you, if they,
I would
yeah,
go
you
in,
would.
I would go in space in a second. If anybody's
wow.
offering, I'll take you up on a
She's
ride.
gonna go.
I would go. I would. I had no issues with that. Yeah.
All right.
Be fun.
You have to bring your animals with you.
I'd sneak one in my
Sneak
pocket.
one in. All right, let's see. Let's get to case of the week here. I'm doing something a little different this time. Typically, I'll do a case of the week that's been already closed. But this one came in, I thought it was a little bit intriguing. And, Shane wrote a really great book on investigations. So I am and having our Colorado MUFON Chief FI here too. I'm going to get his opinion on this when we bring him on. So this is an open case. This is one that just came in. It's case number 133972.
Okay.
It occurred on September 10th, 2023 at 9:50 p.m. at O'Fallon, Missouri. And it's a category 2 case. And basically the witness says 7 craft that were captured over our deck. Flying in formation, super crazy colors. The craft were orange with a blue tinge and an iridescent glow. They moved silently, then stopped and hovered over us for a few minutes. Now that's an important part right there, that they stopped and hovered. Remember that. I would guesstimate the craft to be 20 feet across or more, and they were fairly close to us, like a couple of 100 feet up in the air. So I have a couple videos that I actually have the originals. So Chanel, if we can run video 1 first, and then we'll do the sped up one. Thank you. This originally was, I think it's originally like a 5-6 minute video. So I chopped it down to, kind of the juicy part. But what's interesting and I'll let you analyze it a bit here in a minute, Shane and Tara, but when I sped up the video, it's kind of interesting. I want to get your opinion on this. So Chanel, if you can run video number 2, please. Isn't that interesting? What do you think, Shane? Suspect?
Yeah, that's at first when it was the 3 dots and they were like doing this, I thought maybe they were just turning the camera, but then you could see that they clearly changed positions, and that could be like if it's stationary like this, but then it changed, did that, and the 3 dots looked like in a different alignment. But I think that's actually really interesting. That's an interesting video. The color, the contained, look to them, and then the movement. I mean, clearly not airplanes, clearly not a planet. I mean, you start going through the checklist about the things that it can't be, and you're left with, what could it be, right?
Tiny planet. What's really interesting, Chanel, when I did some contrast work on the photo, so if you could put in that first one with contrast, if you see on the top, back one, please. Yeah, that one. You can see this red streak that goes atop on that top light. Now, when I did contrast and played with things, that streak was there. And same with the second one with the 4 lights, that top light had that streak. You can barely see it on there, but it's really faint. There's only that top light had a streak across of it, which was really strange. I thought, and I've never seen that before. So I can't wait for a photo expert to take a look at this. And then it seems as though there's a darker shadow to the left of the screen there where the lights kind of disappear. I don't know that's a roof line, but when I played with the contrast in that, it was like only the lights would contrast and change, but the black surroundings would not, which made me question the authenticity of the videos and the photos in the first place. So I don't know. There's going to be needing to have some forensics done on the videos for sure.
Well, there was that kind of donut light at the bottom of that kind of came in and blew a couple times when it kind of went lower. And so I couldn't tell if that was close to the ground or if that what the perspective of as far as what the angle is because it's so dark. So that was kind of strange.
So the investigation's not complete.
No, they're going to have the work cut out for them in Missouri. So have fun, Missouri, with that case, and let us know. I'll check it. You know what? I'll check back with it and let you know what they come up with because, like I said, it's an open investigation. Normally, I don't share those, but I thought it was pretty intriguing. So
maybe they should send it to Mark Antonio.
Chinese lanterns don't stop and hover.
No.
So
place. I mean, they look totally different.
The color was similar, but the behavior was not.
Correct.
Right. Interesting. So, Tara, did you do a Mars case this week?
We do have a Mars case this week. And
all right.
This case is from December 8th, 1973 in Council Bluffs, Iowa. There had been a recent storm, and about 1:45 a.m., 4 individuals were traveling in a car going northbound on I-29. And then after their ride, they observed what they described as a solid domed green light, about the size of a mountain. That was near the ground, basically. Wow. And upon questioning, they revealed that at arm's length, it was about the size of a grapefruit, which is really big at arm's length. So, and Chanel has that first picture of the dome on there. And this is a sketch drawn by one of the witnesses. It's a 28-year-old accountant. And the mid upper left, there's a school for the blind that I circled in red, and with the green dome very nearby to it to the right. So at first they thought it was a bomb or an explosion. But then after about 5 seconds, the green dome disappeared suddenly. So the men were confused and agreed not to say anything for fear of ridicule. However, the next day, the witnesses did go public with their sighting, and several articles were revealed in the newspaper about it. So there were 3 different cases. The field investigation was really thorough. So you can go through the other articles too, Chanel. So this investigation also includes the weather. So you have basically, again, these are old cases. And so there's a lot of legwork going on and mail work going on. So that's the weather report. So they would have to go and get physical logs of what the ceiling was and what the weather was like. It's so cool. So
we're so spoiled now, aren't we?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and it's still difficult. So can you imagine? So also a lot of correspondence was in the file, including this letter from the local power company that reveals there was a power outage near the Iowa School for the Deaf at the time of the sighting. And remember, this was winter, and the letter reveals that ice on the overhead power lines caused 3 fuses to blow. So the field investigator then interviewed and consulted with an electrical engineer. And he was told that the power lines, when an arc occurs, can give off a flash of varied colors. And in this case, it was found that ice on the lines caused high vibrations like a violin string. And this will weaken the wire from metal fatigue. And the fuses blew when the ice caused the wires to fall. The fallen wires touched each other and or other material on the ground and caused an arc. So there's a picture of where the downed power lines, the power company sent this to them.
Wow.
Most power lines have a percentage of copper, and corrosion naturally occurs over a period of time. And since the power lines in question were old and there was icing accumulated from the recent storm, conditions for a green flash of light were very favorable. So consequently, it was found that the green light on or near the ground was the result of a power line failure. So it's pretty cool that you get to see a giant green dome. And this was just a case that they were able to identify it. But it took a lot of legwork. So what do you guys think about that?
What do you think,
Well,
Shane?
kudos to the electric company for, participating and not just blowing them off or something. And somebody went to some trouble to do a design, a drawing, and all that. That's awesome. Boy,
That's
today
back when customer service was good.
Yeah, it meant something.
Yeah.
Stuff, and it was really cool. So all these fun cases, again, are in the Mars files, and they're available this year, the end of this year, for people to get in and research and review. Very fun stuff in there.
Yeah,
So-
no, that's a great example of, just like you said, the legwork that these investigators had to do back before we were all spoiled with, going to heavens above and weather underground and all this.
Historic weather.
What was the weather on this date? We're so spoiled, aren't we?
Yeah.
But in some regards, though, I think investigating cases has gotten more challenging at the same time. Again, something we can talk to Jeremy about.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
For sure, for sure. Well, I think we covered everything we were going to cover. Cool. So what do you say we bring Jeremy on in? Let me read off his bio. So Jeremy Ray is the chief investigator of Colorado MUFON. The last 18 years, Jeremy has been conducting UFO investigations in California, Texas, and Colorado. In 2008, he was promoted to the Star Team Investigator and worked with Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Studies, Space Studies, BASS, on high-level UFO cases. Jeremy has represented MUFON on several radio and television shows such as Hangar One, The UFO Files, The Alaska Triangle, and Ancient Aliens. Please welcome to the show my good friend, Jeremy Ray. Jeremy.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, it's about time. I've been trying to get this guy on the show for a year, but he's getting all these new big jobs everywhere. Lockheed
Well, I
Martin.
had a job at Lockheed Martin, and it was a great job, but we were kind of short-staffed, and so there was like no vacations, no time off, and and your podcast was during my working time.
I know.
But now I work at
We
Ball
got you.
Aerospace, and yeah, they give me time off if I need it, so it's nice. I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really thankful you got the time off for doing this. You got time off just to do the show. So thank you for being here so much,
That's
Jeremy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So many of our guests, I like to ask, I think you're originally from Texas, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised Texas. So you kind of got your start in Texas. But what got you interested in this field? Did you have a sighting, an experience?
I had an
What happened, man?
experience. Yeah,
Right.
it was. Okay, so if we go before my experience, I was into. I found UFOs interesting, but I didn't believe that they were real. You gotta understand, I was a kid, and grown-ups told us, UFOs are not real. It's funny business, that kind of thing. But when I had my own personal sighting, I say this often, that one day changed my entire life. I will actually take it a step further. That Jeremy Ray is dead, and a new Jeremy Ray was created. Like my whole mindset, I had these plans. I was at a military school. It kind of felt like a prison to me, but we had an allowance. So I was saving, we get $20 a week, and I was putting it away because one of my buddies had a pickup truck. I didn't have a driver's license during the time, but we were going to go down to South Padre Island and for spring break. So I was real excited. I planned this trip. I know it sounds terrible, but for a kid, looking for freedom, almost 6 months in advance. I was really juiced. I had it all planned out. Well, that day, I was walking over to my friend's house, and I saw this light. I stood there for about 5 minutes. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was low. It was like treetop level, a little bit above the telephone poles. It was big because it stretched across the street. But what was weird is what I'm going to try to describe what it looked like. It was like if the sun was bouncing off like a car bumper, and you saw the reflection of, like a chrome bumper. That's what it looked like. It was very bright. It was brighter. It was brighter than the sun, but it didn't hurt your eyes to look at it. And for me, my first impression of it was it seemed like it didn't belong there. Okay. It looked like some cheap, when it took off, it looked like some cheap Star Trek special effects. Like I said, it just didn't look like it belonged there. So I stood there for 5 minutes. I couldn't figure out what it was. I wasn't thinking aliens or UFOs. I was thinking this was some kind of weather phenomenon or something. And I figured, I didn't have the answer, that I should get a grown-up to answer.
They know.
Yeah.
So after about 5 minutes standing there, I walked across the street, rang a doorbell. I didn't know this guy. I've seen him mow his yard many times. But I live like, I don't know, probably about 8 houses down. So this is like a neighbor I never talked to. Rang doorbell. He came out and he looked at me. I said, "Hi, my name's Jeremy Ray. I'm your neighbor down the street. I'm sorry to bother you, but I see this light in the sky, and I was hoping you could tell me what it is." And so he had this long kind of like awning type thing, so he couldn't see it. So he had to walk out in his yard. And I remember I was like, it was right there. And I pointed at it, wasn't there no more. So I figured it was gone. And the next thing I looked at him and he looked at me and he goes, "Holy Mary, Mother of God." I mean, he was, and then he just double timed it. And I looked up and it was like right there. And I was like, "Oh yeah, there it is." So he runs in the house. And I was like,
left you there.
And I was
like a good neighbor.
That's a little eccentric, is whatever word I was looking for at that time. And I was like, that's okay. I'll just ring the next door. So I walked down the sidewalk, I got about halfway, and then I hear him. He comes out with his wife, and he had some sunglasses he brought with him, and he had a camera. Now, this is March. I don't know if I told you a date, but it was March 20th, 1996, and it was about 3:00 in the afternoon. It was a Wednesday. The sun was in the sky right here, and the UFO was like right under the sun. Okay, so the sun was hurting my eyes, but like I said, this object was brighter than the sun. So,
Strange.
I don't know. We're trying to figure it out, and we're talking back and forth. And Dick goes, "Well," I was like, "So what do you think it is? Some kind of weather thing?" And he goes, "No, no, no." And I was like, "You don't think it's like a kite? Aluminum kite reflecting?" Because that was the only thing I could think of, but it didn't move. It was perfectly still. And he was like, "No." He's like, "I'm going to get a picture of this before it leaves, whatever it is." So when he brought the camera up, and I'm standing on his left side, he's on my right. And when he brought the camera up, the UFO went like this into the sun. And, so basically it was like a light, and then it had these things coming out like a beam. And if you follow the leading edge, it became transparent. So all you could see was those beams when it stuck up in the sun. I thought it was going to take off. And I said, "Dick, put the camera down." And so when he put the camera down, the object came back to the exact position. And then both of us were like, we knew it was under some kind of intelligent control. And as a hyper kid, I was really hyper back then. I was kind of, getting
Not
a little excited.
Not now at all. No. Neither am I. I'm not hyper. Are you hyper?
No, never.
Oh, I'm a lot tamer as a 45-year-old man.
Shane's like,
Katie, you would kick me out of my house. I was so hyper. You got to keep the sugar away from me, But anyway, so I'm like all excited, and they were very scared, concerned.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to walk up towards it. I'm going to try to get under it. I can see what it is because the sun's hitting me in the face. Actually, before that happened, Dick had the sunglasses on. And what he's like, you can see structure in there. And I go, "No, you can't." He goes, "Yeah, you can. Here, look." and he gave me his sunglasses, and I put them on. And what I saw in that light was like 4 iron bars, and I could see the light pulsating around it to where you didn't see the bar, and then slowly pulsate to where you see it. And it was about that slow. It wasn't like rapid. It was real slow. Now you see light. Now you see, I call them iron bars, but these black lines. So there was structure up there. So I wanted to see what was under it. So I said, I'm going to walk out there and I'm going to try to get under it. And I'll tell you what I see. So I start walking and they go, it's moving. And I'm looking right at it. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I keep walking. They go, yeah, it's moving back. It's moving back. Keep in mind, they're staying still. And I'm walking towards it. All I see is the object's right there. I'm just not getting to it. Okay. And it was so it's a blue sky. I don't have any telephone poles or anything to give me a point of reference. I'm just looking right at it and it looks like it's right there, but I just can't get to it. So I still don't believe them. I just think it's an optical illusion. So I turn around, I can't get to it. I come to the edge to where I can't walk any farther. So I turn around and walk back to them. They go, it's following you. It's following you. So I turn around and I walk backwards. Right. And, to me, it just looked like it was staying perfectly still. The reason why is because it was staying at my pace. And when I stopped, it stopped. So to me, it just looked like it was there. But for them standing still, they were like, no, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. I said, okay, fine. If it's following me and it's not letting me get under it, I'm going to walk past you guys. And when it comes over your head, tell me what you see. So
That's smart.
I walked past them. It comes up to them. It comes right up to them and stops. It doesn't go over them. And so I take advantage of that and I flank it. And I go around to Miss Portier's yard and I'm in Mrs. Ladwick's yard and I'm standing there. So we kind of got the UFO sandwiched in between Dick and his wife and me. And I'm looking at it. We're just trying to figure out what to keep in mind. This thing hung around for 15 minutes. And I'm gonna sum it up real quick. So the last thing that happened, Mrs. Ladwick saw me in her yard, came out to see what was going on. And by this time, I'm thinking it's a UFO because the grown-ups are acting a lot more crazier than me. They should have more composure, but they're just mind blown. So I go, Miss Ladwick, you're not going to believe this, but you got a freaking UFO right over here, right above your tree. And she walked out and she said, oh my God. And she walked and she got under it. And when she got under it, that's when it left. And the best way I can describe it is if you what I saw was everybody's shadows got darker. I mean, like there was no sound, there was no wind. And I looked at, I'm keeping an eye. I can see that the shadows got dark, but I can also see the object taking off. So if you had a rubber band and you cut it, Shane, and you and me held both ends and we let go of it, that's what it looked like. It looked like, okay, if you took a rattlesnake, right, and you have scales, those scales flash colors. That's what it looked like. Then it was purple, pink, and blue. And it just flashed real pretty, and then bam, it was gone. But it looked like it folded upon itself. I can't tell you, really, it could have took off. It was just so fast. It was there, but it's gone. Now, Mrs. Ladwick was blinded by she was dizzy. She had to take a knee. And she told me it was very similar, I believe, from my memory, that if you take your fingers and push them really hard on your eyes, I'm pretty sure you guys done this before, and you let go and you don't see, it's like black. And then it starts to kind of phase in, and then you start to see. Yeah. That's what she described it. That one day changed my entire life. And I got to add you one more detail. I had like a consciousness connection to it. And as a young kid, I didn't know how to articulate this. It was 1996. Somebody just asked me what year.
Yeah.
So anyway, So what I'm trying to say is I planned this trip. I really wanted to go. I wanted to try to get a girlfriend or something. You know what I mean? That day, all I had to do was wear some Docker pants and tuck in my shirt, and I could buy beer. It was a little lenient back there. So I had this plan. We were going to go party. And when that incident happened, I didn't care about any of that. I didn't go do it. It didn't matter. That stuff was not important anymore. So I ran home, and I went to tell my mom. She wasn't there, and I called my nana, and I was like, it's an emergency. Get her here. Well, finally, about 40 minutes later, my mom shows up with a distant cousin that was a motorcycle guy, and I never met him before. And so we had company. Great. So anyway, I just interrupt them, and I go, Mom, let me tell you what happened. And so I told her, just like I told y'all, and my mom was like drinking her coffee, and she's like, that's great, son. That's great. Anyway, and she continued the conversation. That made me so mad, dude, and it's probably one of the first times I've ever said a bad word in the house. I'm not going to say it on the show, but we'll bleep it. But anyway, I said, Mom, how much coffee do you got? And she goes, I got a whole pot. And I go, good. Don't blanking drink it. And I remember my mom was like, oh my God. And she's like, get back here. And I ran out the door. Right. And I grabbed my neighbors and I was like, she doesn't believe me. You got to tell her, you know? So I brought Dick over. His wife didn't want to come. She was like, you know, but Mrs. Ladwick came. So keep in mind, my mom never met these people. Okay. So here I am bringing two strangers in the house. Right. And
That'll convince her.
it was an awkward silence. My mom stopped talking and everybody's just standing there. You got four grown-ups and you're just like this. And I'm pouring coffee and I'm like, tell her what happened. And so they told her. And that's when my mother got worried because in her first thought was what my son could have been in danger and all this. She believed no way, you know what I mean? So
Good mom.
that started my journey. And I've had more sightings like that throughout my life. That's just the main one that changed my life. But like I said, there was a consciousness connection. There was a reason why I was getting so happy. I felt love. I felt that the fact that it was following me and it, doing all this, that I don't know. I can't, like I say, even to this day, I don't have the correct terminology to explain, but there was something going on than just a structured craft up there. Okay. It could be something equivalent to like somebody having a religious experience. Okay. And that's why I'm saying my brain was rewired, but my thinking changed. We don't have all the answers. The grownups don't have all the answers. And in my town, reputation was very important. Everybody knew my dad and knew that's Joel Ray's son. He was like president of a bank. But to me, I didn't care about that. It didn't matter about my reputation. We need to figure out what this is. And I was going to tell everybody about it. And I didn't stop and I didn't stop. And I think most of the people thought I was crazy. I'm going to give you one good example. One of my skateboard buddies, I don't know if I should say his name on the air, but I told him the story and he was like, that's awesome. But he didn't believe me. And he never told me that. And then when he saw me on, I don't know, Hangar One or one of these shows, he called me. He goes, I believe you now.
Only took 20 years.
You never let it go. And I was like, that's all it took. I thought you believed me the first minute. But it's kind of hard to believe, especially back during that time, UFOs were heavily ridiculed. You had one good show back then called Sightings. Maybe Unsolved Mysteries would play a good snippet. That's about all you got. And if you talked about it, yeah, I know. But it's a different time now. Definitely a different time.
Thank goodness.
There's more people coming to me asking me questions that I was asking 25 years ago. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's what started. Oh, one more. So the MUFON relationship with this, about a few years ago after that, somebody came up to me and said, hey, Jeremy, MUFON's coming to Victoria, Texas. And I go, what's MUFON? They go, they're UFO investigators. There was a woman come in to give a talk at the convention center. You need to go. You need to tell her story. I was like, oh, I'm there. So it was the first time that I ever talked to somebody that didn't give me that one step back. You know what I mean? She was like, oh, yeah, I've seen things like this before. I mean, her name was Doris Upchurch. She was Corpus Christi, Texas field investigator. She's not with us anymore, but she passed away several years ago. But yeah, I was just stunned that she had the knowledge that I've been trying to find other people in the Bible Belt. Yeah, don't talk about UFOs. That's a devil, Bobby Boucher. That's how I was treated down there. So
Boucher.
yeah, from the movie.
Waterboy.
Mom, I forgot.
That's the dehydration coach.
Right. So I think sometime in college, I was studying IT, and I was like, I just didn't want to do this with my life. I was trying to learn a trade, and I just kept looking up how much do UFO investigators get paid. And I went through, I spent a lot of research trying to find out, well, you got to be a private investigator. And then you're going to have to, pay your own money, get the license. And then you're going to have to be, you're going to be the one-man army or the one boss. And I was like, oh, is there an organization? Like, I knew MUFON was volunteering. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I want to do it. I got to do it for
Yes. We're all
and
that
once I got in, I think it was 2006, and I've been with them ever since. I think it's going on 18 years now.
Wow.
So I haven't left. And of course, one thing that blew my mind is when we finally got, back then we had to take our test on paper, and I had to mail it in. I can't think of her name right now, but everything was done on paper, and you mailed it in, Then we got the CMS, and that just blew my mind because I always thought maybe there might be a real sighting once every year or 2 years or 5 years. I never knew every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Did you ever report your sighting to MUFON, Jeremy?
I told Doris about it, but we didn't fill out any forms.
Right.
I gave Doris the picture of the object. I forgot to tell you the story. We did get 2 pictures. I wish I could get that picture back. I don't have a original picture anymore. There's a mystery behind that. Somebody broke into Dick's house, and that's all they took. They took the whole photo album, and they took all the negatives. And then just around the same time, I lost my pictures. Guys, that was gold to me. Okay, that was like and it just disappeared. So, but I did. And it happened around a time where I gave to MUFON, and then sure enough, boop, everything just gone. But I do have a copy of it, but it's not even worth it. It was a Xerox copy. But yeah, I wish I had the negatives these days, because back then we didn't have CGI, so, and I caught it. I got one picture of it where it's the blue sky and it's straight. And then one picture of this is pictures that Dick took. Mrs. Ladwick's house. You could see the house, you could see the tree, and the object's angled like this. And I never remembered it ever being that low and angled like that, because it was always like right above us. I could have thrown a rock at it or shot it with a BB gun. But anyway, that's what started me on this journey. I've had other incidences similar to that throughout my life. So be careful what you seek, because it might come seek you. That's a true saying.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what your story confirms for me that I've learned as an investigator and a member of the ERT is just you recounting it right now. We can see the emotion behind it and the impact on you. And that it was actually, a traumatic event, a life-changing event. And I always say that when there's probably nothing that makes you a believer in UFOs like seeing one. Right. And you did, and you had that experience. And so whenever I deal with anyone, as an investigator on the ERT side, I'm very aware of, the potential for that traumatic experience to have occurred, and you need to treat people with, dignity and respect on that. And it clear whatever happened, it clearly, made a huge impact. And so you just reinforce what I've seen over and over again. And that was a really cool account, Jeremy. And thanks for sharing that, because
very
that's
awesome.
pretty impressive.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. I think I've told it so many times, but I remember it like yesterday.
Right.
And there is no like, that was a long time ago. No way. And then for many years, I'd say 10 years, I thought about it every day.
Yeah. And I'm going to, I know you fairly well, right?
Yes.
And so, we've sat around the table and talked about things. And in fact, I don't know, maybe later in the show after the break, I'll share a really strange experience Jeremy and I had. But as you were telling your story, Jeremy, it's in my glass case because it's so powerful.
Well, go ahead. Tell everybody.
Okay.
Please tell them. Go for it.
Okay, I'll do it right now before the
Okay,
break.
yeah,
I
it's
won't
okay.
leave y'all hanging. But one day, so Jeremy and I have had similar unusual experiences being pulled out of elementary school and testing and headphones, and we were just recounting some strange, kind of weird things that, and we're like, oh, you know, and I saw also at the Elbert County Ranch, Bright Light, and just similar kind of experiences we had. And as you were telling that story, Jeremy, I was telling like it came for you. It sounded like you had a connection to whatever that experiences was in Texas. So I said, as a matter of fact, when I was a little kid, I used to write in hieroglyphics and like in columns, and I used to draw this symbol all the time. And Cassie was there, and Jeremy goes, oh, I used to draw this symbol all the time too. So she hands Jeremy a sticky note and me a sticky note, sends Jeremy upstairs at his house, and I'm down on the table, and Cassie's like, okay, you two draw your symbol. Let me get out of my glass case right here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There it is.
So here is, I would have uploaded them if I would have known. This was a symbol Jeremy drew. Do you remember this, Jeremy?
Yeah, but turn it.
For you,
Yeah,
it was
like
this
that.
way.
That's how
Yeah.
I always
And
would
that's-
draw that over and over. Elementary school, high school. I don't know why.
Right.
Okay.
And so, and
Weird.
here's the one I drew. Same way.
That is
Yeah.
bizarre.
Wow.
That was mine.
Wow.
So here's mine, and here's Jeremy.
Yep.
Freaked
Wow.
us out. You should have
You
seen us.
think? Oh my gosh.
You're like, oh.
Well, actually, the first one, the one that you drew, I
Uh-huh.
drew that for years, and then there was this guy in high school
Ah,
that showed me how to draw 3-dimensional. So that was but it's just basically a line with the 2 dots, and they were
Yep.
black.
Yeah. So that was an occurrence.
What
we
that
That was
had.
that kind of that spooked. There was no psychic thing going on in between me and Katie. It's just I just going to draw the symbol that I drew in high school all the time that I would doodle, and
Yeah.
she drew hers, and then rest is history.
What do you guys
Weird.
think
Yeah.
it means to you? What does it mean?
That's
to you guys?
uncanny.
I always thought it meant to me alien. It meant something.
Yeah, and for me, it
extraterrestrial.
was a connection to something extraterrestrial for sure.
Yeah.
It was a
Wow.
connection to, I wouldn't say extraterrestrial at the time when I did it because I wasn't into ETs and aliens and all that kind of stuff, but I knew it was a connection to something out there, whatever that
Okay.
was, you know. And we've talked
Interesting.
about that kind of too, like
Mhm.
being connected to animals and nature, and but this was a connection to something out
Mhm.
off planet. So yeah, so that's really interesting. I had another quick little question for you too.
Sure.
Was this in a small town, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The town is Victoria, Texas, and the neighborhood is a nice neighborhood to grow up as a kid. Bramblebush, good people all around. So I played with, riding on the bicycles like you see in the old Goonies, and that was us kids playing,
Right.
and that's
That's how
kids
we all
these
kind of
days
grew
don't
up
do
back
that,
in the
but that's
day.
what I
Now
did when I
kids.
was growing up.
Right.
Playing cowboys and Indians or whatever, or water guns, and
Freeze
so I
tag.
kind of knew everybody in the neighborhood, but those neighbors I've never. That was the first time. And by the way, Dick and before I don't think they're around anymore, but we kept in touch. So every time I'd always stop by their house and come visit, and we'd always talk about the sighting that we had. And Dick said to me the last time I talked to him, he goes, "I am so happy that you came and rang that doorbell and brought me out. That was one of the greatest, most beautiful things that I've ever had to experience, and one of the things in my life." And he meant it,
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
I think I was just about to join the army during that time, but they moved, and I think they moved they were elderly, so I don't think they're around anymore. That's too bad. But I did talk to Mrs. Ladwick, and we rekindled the story. So it's cool. I'm not crazy,
Right.
I have eyewitnesses, but the whole town was like, something not right with that boy. But now ye who laughs last laughs best.
That's
true.
right. Yep.
So
No, you
go for it.
Well, I was curious about, you said that you felt that connection of
Mhm.
love.
Yeah.
I've had dreams
Like a mother. Like,
Yes.
okay, I don't remember.
Totally accept
Okay,
it.
one of my first memories, I do remember being in a baby carriage. Some people don't remember that far, but I do remember screaming for my mom. Now, before that, I have no memories of anything, but the way it felt to me was like a mother holding their baby, like I'm the baby. I know it sounds stupid, but there was some kind of strong, it's like love, but more intense. But I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't something to make me fall down on my knees and like I'm stunned, because I was still in denial on the whole experience. But the feeling that I was feeling was psychic. It was a connection. It was consciousness between me and that craft or whatever it was. And it knew how I was feeling. You know what I mean? And it felt like it was happy too. I don't know how to explain that, but that's
a reunion.
Yeah, like a belonging or a reunion. That's
just reunion. It wasn't like, hey, as a longtime friend. No, it was like, I just can't find the right words for it. I'm really not doing it justice explaining it this way. It was a feeling, and there was a connection, definite connection between me and the craft. Not the fact that it was following me, but there was like a psychic, extrasensory perception, emotion, and feeling. Okay. I wanted it to do certain things, and it was doing certain things. When I look back on it, I kind of now the stuff that we know now, of course, it makes sense. But as a total noob and this is my first experience, you put blockages up on that. You just think it, but no, there was a connection. And actually, this wasn't the first time. I've had many others that had stronger.
That's what I was going to ask you. We have less than a minute until we take our first break. Okay. And when we come back, we are going to play a new segment I have called An Evening on Earth with an Extraterrestrial. Okay. So we'll play that when we get back. But I was going to ask you really quickly, in less than 30 seconds, has that connection stayed with you? And we'll touch more on that when we come back to the break. But has it stayed
every
with you?
Every time we talk about it, I know this sounds nuts, but there's like a ripple of time, like a wave in a swimming pool. I'll explain this real quick. It's still detecting it March the 20th, 1996 from that moment. So I know it sounds weird. I know I don't have no proof, but the ripple effect of what it did with every time we talk about it, even us talking about it, I wouldn't be surprised. That's all.
Something happens. All right. So after break, we will be back with Jeremy Ray.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
MUFON is the voice of thousands of like-minded people who want to see change. We speak up against UFO secrecy. We engage governments and agencies around the world on the topic. We share information with the public through our journal, website, newsletters, social media, and even our own TV channel. When you join MUFON, you add your voice to the cause. Few things are more important in our time than understanding the UFO question. Join MUFON. Find your friends.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy. I'm going to take it for the play. I'm going to take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected. Only at kgradb.com.
The groove. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're not being silly at all here. All right, so new segment for Jeremy. We do an evening on Earth with an extraterrestrial Jeremy. So first, I want to know, what species of alien will you be dining with this evening?
I just make one up.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, who is it going to be?
I don't know, a typical one that. Whatever it looks like, it doesn't matter. Let's just say a friend from out of town. Okay.
All right, a friend from out of town.
I don't know. You say gray, reptilian, insectoid, humanoid. Doesn't matter.
He likes them all. They're all one big family.
Sure. Love. We love.
Where on Earth would you want to meet this ET so they could see the coolest place on the planet?
Oh. Well, for me, it would be a more selfish reason. I would like an isolated location. I don't care. It could be ugly, just so we don't get in trouble with Big Brother or any prying eyes, so I can have. It could be the desert. It could be, I don't care, But the most beautiful place, well, there's so many on planet Earth.
I want to know where you'd go. Somewhere isolated, an isolated desert with shade.
That's great.
That's a good
probably Nama Bay, Sharm el Sheikh. That's in Egypt, or kind of down there. That's like the Cancun for Europeans. You know what I mean? So it's a really cool spot. But anyway, I would just like to have it doesn't matter. You could put me on their craft and we can have a conversation. It's just as long as
hovering over the desert, because there's probably water in the
or his neighbor's tree.
If you wanted me to show off the planet, pick a pretty spot. I don't know. Hawaii, we could name hundreds of them.
Yeah,
I've never been to Hawaii, but one of these days I'll go. I know it's really pretty. But
and what food would you serve this extraterrestrial?
Now I'd be worried about his health. I wouldn't want to harm him, so I would try to think of what's the safest food that humans could eat, and that probably would be like maybe a fruit or something. If they're carnivore, then maybe a cow, but. I don't know. It depends on the bean.
They do come for our cow.
Ice cream, right?
Oh, yeah.
Strawberry ice cream.
Strawberry ice cream. I like that answer.
That sounds great.
I don't think they eat the steaks. Yeah, they like that.
No, it depends on what they want to eat or what do they eat. I need to know that.
Do they eat at all?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
I think they take pills, according to that one case.
Or put things on their skin.
And they like pancakes, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and what music would you play if you'd want to introduce them to some earthly music? What song would you play for them?
To represent humanity, I would
just
probably
for you.
Just me. Oh, well, then we're going to go back to my teenage days. There's so many. I'm sorry. I am a fan of Depeche Mode, so I might play a Depeche Mode song for them. I don't care. Now that wouldn't be. That's a weird question, but if it was for humanity, it would probably be Bach or Beethoven or whatever. From the old times, and then show where we're going. I wouldn't show them today's music. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, but I don't even call that music. But it's not something cool from the good times, 80s and 90s or whatever, or some classic rock.
Yeah,
good choices. And
there's so many to choose from.
You're going to recommend a film for this extraterrestrial to watch. What film would you recommend?
Oh, dang. I don't know. Star Wars. Why not?
Good. Of course.
Why not?
Of course.
Yeah, probably, or something sci-fi. I don't, something that I'd like. I don't know. I don't know if they would enjoy. But you don't know. You can only assume. Maybe they would enjoy
Maybe
it.
they would correct us on the Star Wars saga. They'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
wait.
Then we'll go Star Trek. We'll go Star Trek, and I'll find a peaceful episode.
Whatever. I've never seen an episode of Star Trek. I think it is. I know everybody
My
does.
girlfriend's a Trekkie, and I'm more Star Wars, so I've learned a lot about Star Trek. I actually took her to a Star Trek convention, and she got to meet the captains and all that. So that was
fun!
That was many years ago. But,
That's cool. All right, and you get one question for this extraterrestrial, just one.
Can I have 3? I got so many. I got stupid questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What is this place? Let's get to the point.
That's kind of great.
You only get one wish, so it'd be one of those 3 questions. Like everybody has their own view. Like George Norrie told me one time, he's like, I would ask them if they believe in God. Well, that's an important question, but I still think I would like to ask technical questions like, what star system are you from? How'd you get here? What kind of propulsion can we use? That stuff?
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. But if I could ask a question, who are we? Why are we here? What is it? What is this place? Can you explain our reality to us?
Yeah.
Because we're humans. We're going to work. We're eating. We're doing entertainment. We go to sleep. We rinse and repeat. Most of us don't even question our reality. And I'd like to get that answer, or what it might not be there. What do they believe? Maybe they're I'm not saying maybe we're on the same IQ level, or maybe they're higher IQ, or maybe they could, depends. It could be from their culture if they have a culture. I don't know. It all depend on the situation, on what question I would ask. So sorry, I can't do one. I just can't do that.
That's great.
No, that's honest. That's honest answers, Jeremy. And I really like that, the nature of reality question. Because who knows?
I question it,
Yeah.
Sure.
Got to. Makes it fun. You know what I mean?
It does make it fun, and you're really fun, Jeremy. We've got to meet a couple times and got to meet you, but I have to admit, the first time I ever saw you was on Hangar One, and you talked about how there wasn't much stuff on TV, and I loved that show because there wasn't anything, and we're just starving for information. And so I want to know, can you tell us how you got involved with Hangar One, and maybe talk about some of your favorite cases, perhaps? And
sure. I'll try to do it quick because it's a long story.
Okay.
But I was approached by Paul Villadoid. He wanted to interview me. I don't remember if it was Ruben Yorte or somebody in MUFON recommended me. And I think they interviewed like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of MUFON field investigators for the show,
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, he can call me. I'm not going to be on those TV show, but I'll give him good pointers of who he should get. And so I remember getting them on. I'm like, man, you need to get, they're not alive now, but astronaut Edgar Mitchell, get him to talk about the base on the backside of the moon. That'll be explosive. Or get Stan Freeman. He's a nuclear physicist. Get somebody with credibility on this, just blah, blah, blah. And I was throwing it out, and they were interested in me. And I remember having a discussion with a family member. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to, and they were like, you're going to regret that in life. You should do it. And so I was like very nervous, very, very nervous about it. And they filmed me to go do the pilot. It was me and John Greenwald and a few others. I was a nervous wreck, dude. Because in my mind, the only thing I was thinking when they pointed that camera at me is millions of people, will be watching you. And this is my first rodeo, so I was all over the place. I can't even believe I could get a line out. But it was just a pilot; it never aired. And when I found out about that, I was like, "Yes, okay, I'm happy." And then it was kind of like one of those uncomfortable things. But when they called me back a year later and they go, we're doing the show, It's going to be on History Channel, and you're going to be on season 1. I was happy about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous, and I was like, you know what? I'm going, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Sure.
All these books I've read, we should really hit the public hard with this. And I was thinking more for the UFO community. And Paul was like, no, Jeremy. This is for the people that don't care about UFOs. We're trying to reach family people, people out there, different. I forgot what the word they used, but we want you, instead of I was like, I'll give you a military briefing and we'll leave it for the viewers to decide. And they were like, no. They're like, we need you just to tell the story like you're sitting around a campfire, and we'll do all the extra stuff. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. So, they sat me in a chair. I think it was almost like 14 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Thrilled me.
Wow.
And the problem was, we're in LA. It's the summertime. It's hot. They couldn't turn the AC on because it was just for the sound equipment. So I was sweating, and I was very uncomfortable, but whatever. And then when we went back to season 2, they gave me ice packs to put under my suit, and that
funny.
Oh,
put ice pack under here. I'm just telling you behind the scenes. Yeah. And then I was able to, when you're uncomfortable, it's hard to focus or remember dates and names and things like that. If you do this over and over, I just ignore the camera and I just look at the director, and it's just like Shane, you and me having a conversation. And once I get my mindset on that, try not to say bad words or something stupid, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you're okay. But no, it actually, I kind of felt like I had help. You ever feel like sometimes something talks through you? I know it sounds weird, but when I look back on it, I'm like, man, I was spitting out those dates and facts, but I was just hyper focused,
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
I'll never forget. I knew you when, Jeremy, because we had a little party. I can't remember where we at Barry's house, I think. We went to Barry's house and we did the premiere. Remember that? No.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Jack. All of them are there. Yeah, I remember.
I made a special little gift and everything. Remember?
I still have it.
You still have it? Oh, good.
Yeah, I have it hanging up in my game room downstairs.
Oh,
they gave me a trophy. And even though I went to military school, I didn't play football. I was varsity cross country. I never ever got a trophy, so that's my first trophy. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'll get up there.
Yes.
But we sat there, we watched it, and I didn't have any lines the first episode. But you did see me going through the file. And I expected it to be a little different. I didn't expect it to be like 5 minutes, one topic, and then hop to another topic and because some of these cases you could do a whole episode. You could, and I, for me, I'm a detailed guy, and but they were doing the short and skinny, and I understand people's attention span these days, or like really
these days,
yeah. So overall, it flowed, and then kind of had a little point at the end or a little conclusion. And I think season 2 is my favorite because MUFON heavily got involved in it, where they overseed everything. And I felt very comfortable talking about this material because MUFON gave the approval. But during the first episode, there were some things that were questionable, like, Jeremy, what kind of species of aliens live under Denver International Airport? See, that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, boy. No comment, but the second season, I guess I was seasoned, and I was very organized, and I was ready to fire those torpedoes. So it was just, it's a learning thing, you know what I mean? But season 2 rocks. I love it. I love season 2.
Let's go back and watch it.
What year was
season
that?
1 was more Roswell. For us UFO people, we've heard these stories 1,000 times, and at least season 1 or season 2 brought current cases in the 2000s with military personnel, good stuff. Yeah. And some, I remember some UFO researchers, some state directors, I'm not going to say their names, came up to me and they were like, I never heard of that before. And I had to get into it and go down that rabbit hole, and wow. But yeah, same here. I'm guilty too. There's some of these reports I was like, whoa, this happened? Yeah, it's a MUFON report. Read it.
Wow. Yeah.
Now tell us in a campfire story type scenario.
I got to tell you my Jeremy Ray story.
Sure.
So I don't know what year that was that they were played, Hangar One. I think maybe 2015-ish or something.
2014, 2015. I'd have to get on IMDb and look. I don't remember.
So I had seen you, and I'm like, I like that dude. And then it's kind of when I came into UFOs, and I think I saw you at the International UFO Congress.
Shane, I remember that day, and I remember talking to you. Yes,
you
sir.
do?
Oh yeah.
But, hey, no, that makes me feel great, guy.
I remember our conversation. I remember our conversation, but I want to hear it from your memory.
Yeah, well, so I was kind of all starstruck, and I'm like, oh man, I love this guy, and I would just love to pick his brain and stuff, but who am I? But I thought, well, we're at a conference and people come up and talk to, everybody anyway. So I kind of, braved it and then had that conversation with you and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he's a good dude and everything. And, I was proud of myself for, not being too scared, and did it. And then, we kind of made that connection then. And then later at other conferences, I think maybe Vegas, I don't know if you had gone to the MUFON in Vegas, or
I went to every one. I've been to every MUFON conference except for the COVID one that we missed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the last one in Denver, then we got to hang out quite a bit and did the room crawls and stuff like that. But anyways,
we should hang out more often.
You were one of my heroes, and I got to meet you, and then we ended up hanging out later. So one of the absolute coolest things about being involved with ufology, in my opinion, is how gracious everybody is, and how we have so often we all just have this instant connection, and really hit it off and stuff. So I just wanted to kind of tell you that story because it's something that is important to me. So
two things. One, Shane, thank you, Shane, and that's a memory that I'll always remember too. But one thing is, I think the reason why we're very family oriented, at least from my perspective, is the ridicule factor for so long. And then you come into a group of like minds. There's no judgment. Let's hear about your experience. And that's great. You know what I mean? Because it's everybody that you're around is into the subject matter. It's just like, it's like going to a Comic-Con or a video game convention. Everybody's into video games, and y'all could. So that was cool. But I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I remember you approached me, and we were kind of hidden. There was like a column here that blocked. So I was going this way, and you came and you ambushed me. And so we actually had a private short conversation, and you told me you saw me on the show, and you're not the only one. What's that other guy? God, I'm so sorry. That's not bad at names, but people that saw Hangar One that really enjoyed the show, they met me, and then they were interested in joining MUFON. I was like, oh yeah, do it. And then look, and a lot of these people are high up in MUFON right now. So I didn't realize the power of television and the influence of being teleported in everybody's living room at one time. Who knows? I mean,
it is big. It is powerful.
For me, as an individual, I've got to be honest, I was a nervous wreck. I was like, don't mess this up. You're representing MUFON. So remember that. Don't give your opinions. Just state the facts, and you'll be safe.
Did they stay close to the facts on that show, Jeremy, or did they sway quite a bit? Because
not when I was talking. I just read the, but then later on, they would have reenactment scenes, and some of it wouldn't be accurate enough, but that didn't matter. What what bothers us military vets is the uniforms need to be at least with the right era. And
I would have noticed something like that.
But season 2, her name was Melissa Tilda, or I can't
Tittle.
always Tittle. I remember she was like on this Facebook thing trying to find it's like for Hollywood actors. It's like, and trying to find a person to play a military role. And she had this 50 or 60-year-old man. She goes, I'm thinking about having him as that corporal. And I was like, that's what we would call in the military a turd. You don't have a 50 or 60-year-old corporal. You need to find a 20-year-old. A 50-year-old man would be like a general or like and so they did it great. If you ever watch season 2, Lieutenant Schneider and his men look like skinny 20 years old. That's very accurate, Don't get an old man in there because that guy would have been kicked out of the army. I've never heard of a 50-year-old corporal. I don't know. It might exist maybe in the National Guard or.
That sounds funny.
Right. But So, but yeah, it was a cool experience to be behind the scenes and see how they did it. And I really enjoyed what was really cool is the directors were into UFOs instead of like, we don't believe in UFOs. We're just doing a show. They had the passion too, which I knew would probably be a good show. If they had the passion and we all do, let's see where it goes. And I actually, I'm glad I did it and I have no regrets doing it. But my fear was definitely clouding my judgment there. And I'm glad I had family saying, go do it,
Right.
Did you have great stage fright?
It's actually not anymore. Sometimes Katie shoves me up on the stage. I try to hide,
I kick them like.
Yeah, they're like, "Where's Jeremy?" Don't y'all notice when you try to call me on stage, I'm like disappeared, right? But I don't have stage fright. I just don't have a planned speech. But once I get up there, after that first minute, I just you can't get me to shut up. So.
That's your passion.
Yeah, we love that about you.
Yeah, I think that's important when people's passion shows. I mean, you can tell that but
it brings out energy in all of us when people are passionate. We all get excited and it's
Are there any works for MUFON doing another show similar to Hangover 1 in the books, or I unfortunately didn't make it to the symposium this year. Is there any buzz? Sure. I mean, I hope they do.
I'll tell you what got my attention. David McDonald's speech when he was up there handing out rewards. He said 2 things that made me go, I've been waiting for that for a long time. What? So I used to be on the STAR team back when Robert Bigelow funded UFO research, and MUFON was a part of that project. It was called the SIP project, stood for Star Impact Project. And of course, STAR is another acronym for Strike Team for Area Research. So I was part of that team and we did get paid. That was cool. So it's so awesome when you got a hobby and you're getting paid to do it, And I don't even see this as a hobby. I actually see this as serious business. Yes. And I think one of the great things about MUFON people, this is how I feel, is like, it's not that we're like serving our country, we're serving the world. We need people like us watching the skies, Right. And then we talk to and instead of hiding that information, we help everybody, people that have traumatic events with ETs. We have a team called ERT that deals with all that. So, and Shane, so I see it as, I don't know. I'm very proud to be a part of MUFON. It's an honor to me. And it's an honor to meet everybody that's a part of MUFON. Y'all are family. That's how I feel. So
well, I think that's how they can keep a lot of the volunteers. Is there is some family. There's a lot of work, and
it's a lot of work. If you don't have
and
passion,
doing it for free, so with ridicule, so
free with
ridicule.
Everybody
free with ridicule.
I'm a seasoned. I'll tell you what. I'm pretty seasoned with the ridicule. I've been dealing with my whole life, and I actually use it to my advantage. So the one job when I was working security, I had some people that liked me, and they'd come up and tell me their life stories. I got a lot of work to do, and they would just suck my energy. So finally, I'm just like, let's talk about cattle mutilation, see how far this goes. Bam, I never see them again. Talk about UFOs. It's a good deterrent, man. It's not me being mean to people. You want to get crazy, let's get crazy. But
That's funny.
No, I would say I'm seasoned on approaching somebody that might not have any knowledge of it and know how to approach them. And I've had many. You have too. We all have. But in the beginning, growing up as a kid and knowing, to me, that was really important. I would say 99.9% everybody thought didn't happen. Impossible. There's no such thing as UFOs. But yeah, times have changed now. You got Congress, you got the government, you got everybody coming out.
Yeah.
What do you think of all that? What's happening right now, Jeremy?
Me on the grand scale, like being up, looking down, I don't think it's for us at all. I think it's for the normies, the people that don't care about this kind of stuff. And even though for us, we're like, NASA didn't say anything or, blah, blah. It's a drip, 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 drip flood that's coming. You know what I mean? So, and it's to get everybody on board slowly but surely. It might be a year or two. It might, unless an event's coming that they know about. Now, I'd say the real secret keepers are the UFOs, and if they really want to, they could just show up and, which they are, but they're real secretive and just kind of, I don't know if discreet's the word, but discreet. But
you think that'll happen in our lifetime, Jeremy?
Yes,
you do.
I used to not think so, but I do. Yeah, I sure do.
Do you have reasons for that?
Premonition.
Oh yes.
I got friends in high places. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, the ball is rolling. So it's for the normies, and it's to get everybody acclimated. You don't want to yell bomb and fire on a plane, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or snakes.
Right. Or whatever. So that's just my belief. I have no proof, but I would like to learn something new. My idea of disclosure is holding it in your hand, experiencing it for yourself instead of having all these talking heads. That's fine. That's good. But I've been doing this for 18 years. Let's let me check it out. Let me be Jackie Gleason. Let me, Jackie, the story. Or I would like to touch the craft and learn this. Put me in a skiff. I'll keep my mouth shut and let's go through the files. I'd like to learn as much as I can, something new. Been doing this for quite some time, and I'll say this: I know UFOs are real, but the agenda behind it, we don't know. Unknown to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got the lore out there, and we have all these stories, and we try to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But I'd like to know more, and that's why I still stay in. It's just there's many reasons why I still stay in. I'm in for life. I'm not going anywhere unless Katie fires me. Yeah, no, never.
Katie.
So, Jeremy, what evidence catches your attention the most? Because we know with UFOs investigation, you have everything from photos and videos and witness testimony and credibility and not credibility and I'm sure you've investigated hundreds of cases, and we always have those lights in the sky. And how do you really tell whether they're anomalous or not? I mean, is there a form of evidence that really you value and catches your attention in particular?
Okay. Okay. ERT is like a whole nother group, but before you guys started, I did both. We all did both. I was always interested in the ET cases. I would love to be on ERT, but I want to retire so I can go full on Monte because you know what I'm saying. So, what I find fascinating on the type of people is military personnel, military pilots, astronauts, people. I like those. If I could pick and choose, I would love to just invest. Since I'm ex-military, 82nd Airborne paratrooper, I'd just like to talk to soldiers about their experiences at crash retrievals or whatever. The list is huge. Yeah, I like that. That's something awesome. But it doesn't matter. I'll talk to anybody. It doesn't matter. So evidence-wise, go ahead, Katie.
I was going to ask you if you had opinion on why you think the Navy's been more forthcoming and maybe the Air Force isn't so forthcoming.
Because the Navy. Okay, I'm sorry. I think the Navy. Okay, let's think about this for a minute. Air Force flies airplanes, right? Navy's deals with ships, right? Yeah, that's probably the reason why. I've always figured that if anybody was going to get it, the Air Force got Project Blue Book. That's cool. But, I think the Navy probably gets I'm guessing most of the money to deal with that kind of stuff. And if we're doing off-world, like what's that hacker, that British hacker, Gary McKinnon? He said, that there were ships. I wouldn't be surprised that would be the Department of the Navy, because it's just me. I don't know. If we were making a bet, I would bet on it. But I bet you, and I would think the Army would be doing most of the crash retrievals. Like a special Army team or something that's separate from these branches. We've seen enough. I'm not saying like Men in Black, but a special team that specializes in that, whether it's in the intelligence community, like the CIA have their own special crash retrieval program to deal with this kind of stuff. It could be a whole, probably the Defense Intelligence Agency, because the Defense Intelligence Agency is the one that funded Robert Bigelow for that MUFON SIP project. So, and anyway, get back to the symposium. The two things that David said was we're going to be working and helping the intelligence community with UFO reports. He did say those words. And then right after he got done saying that, he said, we're going to reactivate the STAR team. So we already have a STAR team, right? Yeah. It's about how he chooses his words and trying to figure out what the meaning is. But the original STAR team in the beginning was funded and it was paid. And so maybe that might happen in the future. I don't know. I haven't got confirmation of that, but I think that would be a dream come true. All our hard work that we've done and that we still do, it'd be nice to have, some funding to take it to the next level. And I want you to know that when we did have I've heard many different stories, but from my end, one of the greatest things about the STAR team for the Bigelow program, it showed that MUFON was very capable of having like a quick reaction force to deploy at a moment's notice, be out the door in and be on the site in 24 hours, because they had everything covered. I mean, you had a per diem, rental, hotel. I didn't have to plan all this. They planned all that. I just needed to make sure my car was packed with all the gear. And you got to be ready to be Johnny on the spot, And I like that. Meet
the military there.
Really awesome. Yeah, that's the idea.
That's the trick.
Is to beat the military there. Then you got to step away. But the STAR team, Jeremy, does the STAR team, for those people who don't know, is it by state? Because I'm on the STAR team in Arizona as well when I was doing investigations. But wouldn't the main MUFON STAR team go out to some of these cases if they're really big? I mean, who gets the big cases?
Okay, so let's go back in time. Back in the day, they only had maybe, I think there was 3 or 5. Later on, it became 5 STAR team, and that was it. And that was, and then when Bigelow came in, then they went around and they gave everybody these applications to fill out, and they were looking for certain things like PhDs, whatever. I qualified because I had law enforcement. Military qualifies as law enforcement. That's the only thing, and then I got it. I don't know who approved all of it. And it was Richard Lang was a STAR team manager. He was in Virginia, but he was coordinating all STAR team cases. And then he was the one voice that talked to Robert Bigelow. Okay. So he was the one that managed all that. And he took the lead. He would tell me what I needed to do, and he was great. I learned a lot from him. Great guy. So that, and then the STAR team ended when the project was over with. So it was kind of like you had the patch, but we still did the same thing as field investigators did. And then sometimes, like Katie, like Doug had something different. Like everybody can do category 2s and 3s. Katie wants me to assign seasoned people, and a seasoned person is a STAR team guy or girl or gal, is because they had to do a lot of cases to get to that point. Right. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. So when I also answer your question,
Jeremy, that we can put a STAR team person as the head investigator, but I also, if you're non-STAR team, get them in there and get them trained, because a lot of field investigators want to work up to STAR team, and they really don't get the experience of those good cases unless you put them on those good cases. So that's how we do it here in Colorado, and different states do it differently. But
they do. I just do what Katie tells me to do. Okay. But I do think if my fantasy becomes real, my fantasy is big budget. And if you're on a STAR team, you're already in, and we want smart people. So that you just think about it. Once people find out, they get paid, you'll have like a horde of zombies coming, right? Want to be a part of it, right? So I always look at it this way. If you were a volunteer and you've been here and you've been doing it your hard, I think these people should be STAR team. And if we could fast track them or get them on it, if we're going to reactivate the STAR team, those were his words. To me, that just sounds very similar to the Bigelow SIP project but I can't read David's mind. This is just my fantasy. We'll see what happens. Okay?
And of course, there would be it would be an interesting kind of thing to juggle, because then who gets what and where and how and all that. But maybe there's a system for it. I have a question for you there, Jeremy, though. Sure. Speaking of Bob Bigelow, and do you think first of all, question number one, what was he looking for and did he find it?
Okay. I actually met Mr. Bigelow, talked to him. I could talk about that. But what he was interested was if anybody got inside the ship and they saw the cockpit, or what, if you want to call it, the control panel, they were willing to pay for that type of information. Okay. So you can use your own, get that hamster turning and try to figure out why. But what does he do? Right. He sees deflatable space modules up in space and in partnership with NASA. So it's probably for aerospace to try to re-engineer or see how they do it. But they were interested in that kind of stuff. When I met Mr. Bigelow, I didn't know him. I didn't know I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was some wealthy billionaire came in to fund UFO research. And I like this guy, because if I was a billionaire, I would do the same thing too. So I remember, just like you, Shane, how you cornered me. I went to where's Robert Bigelow? I'm gonna get him. And I came up and cornered him. And,
that's what I did to Richard Doty. I'm gonna corner Doty.
I got
him in the corner.
But there's a long version to this story, but I'll keep it short and skinny. I shook his hand and said, "Sir, I just want to thank you for using your hard-earned money to fund UFO research." And he goes, "It's not my money. We have sponsors." And he winked at me. So just during that time, it went over my head. But later on, we found out that the Defense Intelligence Agency was starting to go around funding UFO research groups, and Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies was one of them. Right. And that money, of course, came to this SIP project and trickled down, and that's how I got paid by your taxes, I guess, right? That's taxpayers' money, right?
I feel good about that. I'm okay with
paying the taxes, so I could go out and investigate. But no, it was great. I actually believed I was going to make a living in doing this. I was like, this is going to be my career. But I only got 2 cases in a period of a year, so you can't make a living off it because they just pay by the case. Yeah. But no, it's awesome.
Here's your $50.
I feel like that was a piece of history. Be honest, there was a time where I was driving doing the case. I have to admit, I did feel like Agent Mulder. I did.
I love it. Dun, 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 dun. Here comes Jeremy. Dun, 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 dun.
It was. But now keep in mind all that STAR team stuff. All that was way before I got on Hangar 1. That came way later. So
wow.
Yeah. When I look at 18 years of MUFON, it seems like I've done a lot, but not really. It's just been spread out over time, And you got some people that work really, really hard. But I'm just trying to retire so I can do it 100%. That's my goal.
Yep. Mine too.
Yes,
2.5 more years.
Oh, you lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any kids, so I figured I can do it as soon as possible, but we
highly recommend.
I need a little bit more money, and I think I'm there. I'll get there soon.
Nice.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Katie, you think I don't know. I want to be international director of MUFON. I'm serious.
Oh, cool.
But I want to make sure I go 100% and not have other things going on.
We'll manifest it.
Thank you. Awesome.
We're rooting for you.
Yep.
I'll vote for you.
Thank you. I'd vote for you too if you wanted to do it, Shane. Any of y'all. Tara, Katie.
I don't want to do it.
I know. I wouldn't want to do it
I can
now,
say either
but
way. I changed my
if I
mind.
had all my everything taken care of, yes, definitely. Full on Monte, I'd do it. So
Cool.
is there any other crazy questions you guys want to ask? No?
Well,
You getting
yeah,
close?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Like, what is your two-part question? What's your favorite case in ufology, number one, and what's your favorite case that you've investigated yourself?
Ooh, okay. That would be. How much time do we got? We got
About 15 minutes ish.
Oh, see, I can't do the case justice. I have to just give you a short and skinny. The one that I did was a Star King case for the Bigelow. That was one of my. Actually, I talk about it so much on podcasts. I should think of a different case. But there's many. I've had some that dealt with police officers chasing the UFO. UFO goes over town, shuts down all the. When it shot up, all power in town went out. Even dispatch lost radio communication, and even their generators didn't work either. And it's cool when you got police officers that already wrote up the police report, and their supervisors like, nope, we're not accepting it because it's in the news. And so they hand me their police report, and they've done all their investigative work. They knew it wasn't the power company. It was really great. I like cases like that deal with law enforcement or military, but the Bigelow one had an entity involved. 2 guys were taken in the car. A UFO came over and took them, obviously. But while they were being chased by a UFO, this naked man was running through the desert, kind of coming at a trajectory to meet up with the car. And when it came up, there was no genitalia and it wasn't human. The head was like an upside down teardrop, and it looked like it had a hard time holding its head up while it was running up to the car. As soon as it hit the car,
Me of that, that video of that alien that do 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 do. He kind of
the way they described it was he was running like this, but his head was crooked, and he came in and hit the car. And keep in mind, they were trying to outrun this UFO, so they were going about 85 miles an hour or more. And when the thing hit the car, everything filled up white light, and they felt like they were being lifted up. They had 2 hours of missing time. They actually forgot about the event until they were driving down the road, and one of the passengers was like, didn't we hit something? Didn't we hit a rock, or didn't we hit a person? And they had a rental because they were coming from a vacation. They were driving back through Texas. And so they were worried about the car, and they got out and they were looking at the car, and that's when their memories came back. And so they contacted MUFON, and Bigelow's team showed up right away, and they were really mad. They were very mad because they contacted MUFON. They didn't know who these people were. They felt it was very Big Brother-like, and they didn't want to talk to MUFON. So Richard Lang knew I was very not practical, but I could go up to anybody. Doesn't matter what your culture is, and I can talk to you. And these people didn't want to talk, and so he picked me to go do it.
Nice.
And I just. They were really upset for 20 minutes, but I got them to trust me and spill the beans. But that's the short and skinny. There's a lot more details, but I always found that case fascinating. I could see the fear in these guys. They really had a traumatic event, and they were hoping I had an answer, and I don't. But I can support you, and thank you for filing the report and all that kind of stuff. And there was another part to your question I didn't answer. The first part. What was the first part of your question?
Your favorite just UFO case in general. Just
I like the one. There's a lot of them, but I do like the one. I'm having what's it called? It was in 1964 UFO landing.
Socorro, New Mexico.
Yeah, thank you, Socorro. I was trying to say Socorro.
Good, Shane.
I like that case. I like the Bentwaters case. I like the cases that deal with nukes. UFOs over nukes. All of them. And Robert Hastings, his documentary, fantastic. I like that kind of stuff of UFOs. I mean, dude, I can go on, but anything that deals with the military or astronauts when they have contact, just all that. I like that stuff. But it doesn't matter. I'm a whole. I can talk to anybody about their sighting, but very interested when you've got we had a case where in Texas, a military intelligence officer, female, was inside I think a C-17 or C-130, and she took a picture of a Tic Tac out her window. Those type of cases I like. Even though it's a Texas case, I would have loved to have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you think some of these objects are ours?
Yes. Yeah.
And is there any way to differentiate which ones, or do you know which ones you think? Or
well, I know we can go back to the 1800s, and we can still hear about triangle craft. You know, so you can't say it's TR3B unless they got time travel, or then we get a little woo-woo here. Got to come to a down-to-earth explanation. What I look for is structured craft. Okay. Okay. So I'm on the fence with this Tic Tac, guys. I don't care if anybody gets mad at me. I've had people attack me on this. I know that Commander Fravor, he thinks it's from out of this world because there's no way that you can do these ping-pong maneuvers and have a pilot inside. There's no way they can stand that inertia. But I know that Commander Fravor probably wasn't read in or didn't have the need to know, you know what I mean? And what an awesome opportunity to have a high-tech drone that can go underwater, in the air, and in space, and let's fly it by one of our pilots, because there's a couple of things about it. He was on a training mission. He didn't have live ammo, okay? So just a couple of things. I'm 50-50 on it, but, you know, if I had to place a bet, I would bet it's ours. That's just me, unless you give me more information. I need more information instead of these grainy little videos that they're showing the public. I know they got better pictures than that. I know the gun cameras got better pictures than that. And I know that satellite footage, they're not showing it to us. Oh, you got to be in a skiff to see that. Well, I can't wait till the day where they show it to us. I want, 4K, 8, excellent quality instead of these grainy little. Okay, you know Shane and Katie and that we got better pictures in our MUFON CMS database than what they're showing out here in Congress and all that kind of stuff. So to me,
wasn't that frustrating when they tried to show the video that first congressional hearing and they couldn't? I was like screaming at my TV, and then I'm like, why that one?
For us UFO guys, yes, but for an average person. I mean, people at my work were like, whoa. And I'm like, anyway.
We're all
whatever.
Been there, done that.
I would say that
so advanced.
I would make, if I can make a guess, I would say 85% of them are ours.
Wow.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Fair enough.
Aerospace companies. I'm not going to name the names because I don't know for sure. Why not? Right? You talk about having flying cars. We should have flying cars right now. It's 2023.
We probably do.
So the Ben Rich, the father of I forgot, but Lockheed Martin, when he stepped down, he said it would take an act of God to get these stuff out of the black projects to benefit humanity. Oh, and then once you roll this out, it might not even be extraterrestrial. It might be Nikola Tesla's stuff that they hidden a long time ago. It could have came, you know what I mean? But when you're talking about other UFOs that are dimensional or lights or like the experiences that you and me have had, Katie, I do not think that was ours because I don't. The conscious
it affects you in a different way. That conscious piece.
Yeah. So to me, I knew by instinct. It's not from here. It doesn't belong there. This is something totally different. So you got all this going on, but I wouldn't be surprised that we have our own UFOs, like the TR3B. And I hear there's many other models that are way better than that one.
The Space Force, is that what they are?
I heard that if you lock on a TR3B, that it can, and I actually said this on Hangar One, the UFO Files, that it can manipulate your radar to show multiple TR3Bs. So while it's doing this ping point maneuver, and you got multiple of them popping up all over your radar, good luck trying to lock on one. So it's got some pretty, and then some of the cloaking technology.
Are some of them
can look like clouds? Say that again. What?
Are some of these not actual craft, but like projections?
Could
like
be.
To confuse, like maybe project.
There's a lot of psyops going on.
Isn't it? Just psyops. Be flying a jet and just project other jets and confuse that. I mean, okay.
Well, how about this? We had two investigators, I won't say their names, but you know who they are. They did a cattle mutilation case. They wrote about it in their book, and they had a helicopter hover right above their car, but they couldn't see the helicopter. You know what I mean? But they could feel the wind, they could hear it, but they couldn't see it. Two MUFON investigators, So Cloaking technology is real. I assure you on that. It's pretty good. I've seen a UFO that was inside a cloud. It let me know it was in there, and then when it turned its lights off, it stayed the cloud. But I watched the cloud when it started to dissipate, that the other part of the cloud would come back in and tuck in. So I got to look for a long time, got to look at this, and I figured that one was Uncle Sam. I know, maybe I'm the lucky guy. Let's fly our high-tech craft over Jeremy Ray's house and see how he's going to react. Because it looked like a donut, but it was metal. It was a dull metal. Mm-hmm. But it was about the size of a car, so it wasn't a big object. Silent, quiet, but it had a cloud cloaking technology on it. And then another part of cloaking is like filming the ground, filming above you and then projecting the image on the ground. But I think they got something better than that. And I'm very interested to see the schematics on it. But I would say that most of these things might be ours, and some of these aren't. So you just,
fascinating.
That's about as much as I can say on it. I think the Tic Tac's ours. I don't care.
I want to write in it. I want to do it.
Why do you have these like backward L things on it? These little antennas.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
You got those on ICBMs or whatever. You kind of, I don't know. You just, just kind of try to come to a down-to-earth explanation. And if you can't, then it's an unknown. Doesn't mean it's alien. It just meant we did our checklist and,
right.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. But
it would be great to have some of these black projects revealed or opened up, and where you could not only for the specific thing that they're developing, but the development process and the technology.
I actually think, I think what we should do is instead of just finding your top scientists in the world and hiding them in an area, controlled area, and have them try to figure it out. I think you'd probably need an Einstein to figure some of this stuff out if it's truly ET, right? So your next Einstein might be a kid that's in a third world country in poverty and not having a good education,
right?
And probably, but a genius, but will never have the opportunity to work on something like this. And this kid right here would be the one to solve the mystery. So I think we should have everybody involved, all walks of life. This isn't about what country, this is about humanity. Okay.
Right.
So every country should be on board, every walk of life, smartest minds for us to solve this mystery and to better ourselves too.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, that kind of goes to your point about how, they're looking for people on the STAR team who were credible, very credible witnesses, because there is something about that when you're doing your field investigations. But a lot of these witnesses are just average people like me. And I feel I'm credible, but I know there's a scale, but, get everybody involved because we all do have something important to say.
Absolutely. I think we just need to find out what the standard is. And if you can meet the standard, then you become STAR team, I mean, like if I don't know how many cases it is, but just yeah. And if they're going to revamp it or reactivate, as Dave said, then we've got everything ready to rock. You should do it. Everybody should do it.
I agree.
So we only have, this time flew by.
Okay.
We had I think Kathleen, one of our listeners, thanks all of our listeners for being here. Like we need 3 hours on the show because Jeremy, you've been fascinating. So we only have 4 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I know it flew by, but I would, kind of on what Tara's track, as far as what would you like to see for ufology in the next year? I mean, what can we all do to kind of, help push forward? And
I think we should. I think we're doing it. Dave has been going back and forth. I know nobody hears about this, but he's been talking to Congress. And I don't really have a lot of faith in Congress, but it's a step. Okay, it's even like NASA, not always a straight answer, but I think we all need to work together and share information and try to solve this mystery. I think there's people that already have solved the mystery. We need those people to come forward. I know David Koresh is spearheading the movement. I'm more excited about the whistleblowers that work on these projects that are standing in line waiting to come forward.
Right. Do you think more people are going to do that? Because the couple that just came forward, they're giving them quite the hard time. And is that intentional? Do you believe they're doing that intentionally?
In the faction, there's some that don't want this out, so they're attacking. And to make an example out of David with his post-traumatic stress, that's pretty weak.
Low.
But anyway, basically what I was going to say was trying to scare the other important ones that are behind him. But maybe we shouldn't talk, But I think this is the time. I think people need to have some courage. It's not about you. It's just about humanity. And if I worked at a top secret thing like that and I had some answers, yes, you bet I would stand up there. I would risk my life. I would.
Yeah.
Just get it out. Yep. So
it's well said. So all this, I stay away from certain social media platforms out there because I hear it's getting kind of nasty out there. So a little message out, just knock it off and have respect and put everything in that gray basket. Like Shane said, in the gray.
I got the gray folder.
Right. I got the gray folder. I have the gray cabinet.
Yes.
So
the vault.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. I want to personally thank you, Jeremy, for all the hard work and dedication that you do give to not only Big MUFON, but Colorado MUFON in particular. You are fantastic with our field investigators, and you've just been so wonderful to have and a great mentor for so many people. And you do matter, and all of us matter in what we do and what we give to others and our witnesses, and just being an ear for people because, like you said, there's people, we're ridiculed and sometimes feel a little odd man out. And so to have that camaraderie and that support is really important. And so just personally, I want to thank you for everything you've done. And thank you for being a guest on our show on MUFON What's Up. Say hi to Cassie for me. Shane, thank you. Tara, thank you. And thank you for being here.
Oh, it's been so fun.
We went to the Wolf Center today and saw some wolves. It was a lot of fun.
They howled for us.
And thank you to Chanel for running the back end. We missed you while you were gone.
Yes, we did,
so we're
Chanel.
Happy to have you back. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Bill Skywatcher and KGRA. And stay tuned. Who's coming on next week? Oh, next week we have Michael Schratt.
Awesome.
Michael Schratt will be with us next Tuesday night. So we hope to see you guys back here next week live. Yeah. And until then, have a great rest of your week, everybody. And thank you for being here. Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you, Shane. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Awesome to see you again, Jeremy.